Sadnam aloha, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. And if you could put your name and your astrology information if you want to, that would be great. Let me get the comments up here. Okay, get out of this. Okay, comments. Great, people are here. Okay, right on, that's great. Yeah. We're in some crazy energy, aren't we, Sinbad? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we're going to talk about this week. And we are going to look at, there's the week chart. So, how is everybody doing with the Mercury retrograde? That's finally coming into an end on the 28th. Let me just get my pen here. There we go. Let me out of the way here. Just have to look for my pen. My digital pen, where are you? I do not see it. Okay. Let's see if we can do it without it. All right, so people can see that, yes? Okay. So where are we today? We're in August 23rd. 24th, 25th, 7th, 8th, and that should take us till next week, till the next live stream. So you want to look at the definition right away, and you can see the chart. So remember, if you're unfamiliar with human design and the system, go to the information box and get yourself your free chart. And so you'll have your natal chart, and you'll you can learn about your own chart through watching this channel. And please subscribe if you haven't already, and like the video. That would be great. Okay, so we've got, you can see we have this channel, the 59.6 right here. That's defined right until the 28th. So what's really interesting about this is in 2027. So this is what the 59 is one of the major keys, in the cross of, we'll go here. So the cross of planning, this is what we're leaving. Okay, get me smaller here. So the cross of planning, this is what we're leaving. And these are the major themes of the cross of planning. So this is the last 400 years since 1615 to 2027. And these are the major themes. So it's been the 16, the 9, the 40. Whoops. I will be so happy when we leave Mercury retrograde. I've never been affected like from Mercury retrograde. I think it's the fixed signs because I'm double Leo, which is fixed, and Taurus, Sun, which is fixed. And then if you're a Scorpio and Aquarius, you're going to feel it too. So Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, and Scorpio will really feel this Mercury retrograde. So anyway, so let's take our time here. So it's the 16 and the 9 and the 40 and the 37. So this has been the global program that's been motivating humanity. And you can see in the 1615, one of the major events here was the Industrial Revolution. So this is humanity was motivated to focus. that's the 9, on gaining the right skills, that's the 16, so that they could work, 40, and then 37 to the tribe, for the tribe. So this was the bargain. So all of this is coming to an end for the new cross of the sleeping phoenix. And these are the major themes for the... So we went from the Industrial Revolution, and we're moving into an inner technology revolution. So this is the realization that the real technology is found within, right? So there's the major themes as 34, 20, 55, and 59. So there's our 59 for the week, right? So this is a major theme that will be really kicking in 2027, and we're already feeling it. So what is this? You're motivated to follow your authentic convictions with honesty in the now moment, and to liberate the spirit through honesty. So this is the keynote here, is empowerment. This is the age of the individual that's coming. So, and it's interesting too, because here's the mandala. So this is this whole system, right, is the sun. All the planets are moving around the mandala. And so you've got the 59 here, which is in Virgo. And then directly across is the 55. Do you see that? So that's how the programming partners, somebody asked me about that, the programming partners. It's the number and what's directly across from it. So you learn more about the gate in that sense of the word too, is by the meaning of the gate by looking at its opposite, programming partner it's called, right? So what do I want to say about that? So we go from the 59, and the next movement on August 28th, it goes into the 40. And remember, the 40 was part of the cross of planning, right? Cross of planning. So we're leaving this theme, the 40, and we're moving into the theme of the 59 for the cross of the sleeping phoenix in 2027 and beyond. So it's interesting, right? This movement that we're moving from the 59 and then the 40 on August 28th. So I'll talk about that more in my next video. Okay, so the 59. So let's talk about this 59 then, because it's there all week. And so there all week. And how can we use this energy, right? So there we go. There's the movement. Well, the 59 is going through a huge mutation. It's going through a huge mutation, the 59 and the 55, right? So the 59 is about how we bond, how we relate to others, right? How we relate to others. So the 59.6, if you have the 59.6, the whole channel, then it's called the channel of mating, but it's not necessarily about mating. Yes, it's about procreation. It's about sexuality, but it's about breaking down the aura and penetrating the aura of another in order to procreate, right? In order to work together. You can look at it like that too, like in a non-sexual way, because what's happening is the 59's getting mutated, and this is going to affect our birth rate, our birth population of humanity is going down, and it will continue to go down, and that's the program that we're in, because we have enough diversity now, genetic diversity, to move through this mutation. So the 59 is the gift of intimacy. It's the gift of intimacy. So we're not going to be coming together like, I like to talk about after 2027. So we're not going to be so genetically motivated to procreate and keep that cross of planning going. The cross of planning needed all those structures, those support structures, in order to create more and more humans and keep this system going. We're not going to need that anymore because the infrastructure you're seeing, it's starting to collapse. So we're going to be coming together for different reasons. Right? So we're going to be coming together more for spiritual reasons. That's the 55. Right? So you have intimacy, but it's grounded in spirit. Do you see that? The 59 in the sun position and then the 55. It's coming together, bonding together, creating intimacy, grounded in spirit. So it's all going to become all about spirit in the future. The spirit of the person. We're not going to be ruled by our genetics and our animal self, which is just genetics doesn't really care about if you're happy or fulfilled. It just cares about diversifying the genetics, right? So that you can produce babies. And that's why we were attracted to one another. Opposites attract, they say, right? That's what that means. So that desire will not be there any longer. That's going to be mutated out of us. So then it will be, well, why do we get together then? Well, we come together in spirit. And this is the age of the individual, right? It's the age of the individual. So, what do I want to say about that? I wrote some notes. I want to keep track of my notes here. So really the 55, right? If we look at the 59 and the 55, it's about the individual, right? It's about you being your authentic self now, right? Because the 55 is individual. We're moving from the cross of planning, which was all about tribal, and we're moving into the individual, the age of the individual. So the 59 is really about giving yourself permission. Like, let's talk about how you can use this energy this week. It's giving yourself permission to be your authentic self and giving others permission to be their authentic self. Right? So this time is about not getting your identity through the external. It's not getting your identity through groups of people. And I just wrote this in my newsletter, if you're signed up to my newsletter, that foundation is losing, it's weakening. So you'll notice that with your family of origin or communities or different groups that you belong to or even your workplace. It's not the same. That grounding isn't the same when we gather in groups because we're feeling the collapse of this old consciousness, right? It used to be enough to be in a group of people and I never was because I'm a pure individual. I never felt comfortable in that. But the people that are tribal or collective or a mixture of all of them are going to start to feel that more. Oh yeah, my family dynamics, it's not the same. It's not as fulfilling anymore. So it doesn't give me satisfaction like it used to. Now it's about the one-on-one relationships, right? We're going to be seeking more depth in our relationships and our bonding, and it will be rooted in spirit. Does that person have the right spirit for me? Does that person bring out my authenticity? Does that person bring out my passions? Or am I just chit-chatting on the surface? That won't be enough anymore in our human relationships, right? We're going to want more. We're going to want more depth. Right? So the 59 is about, if you have this natally, then you're a big part of the cross of the sleeping phoenix, right? You're holding that energy. It doesn't matter if you don't have it, right? If you don't have it, you're part of it, but it's more impactful for you if you do have it activated in your natal chart. So this week, you have the opportunity, right? People are going to be more open to this intimacy. They're going to be more open to this kind because we're under a transit. They're going to be more open to intimacy. They're going to be more open to a deeper connection or not, because it's a binary, right? So it's either this or that. But the beauty of this is that people will let you know if they're for you or not. It's going to be really, really easy to see that. Some people want to hide. That's why it's a shadow of dishonesty. The 59 is the shadow of dishonesty. And being dishonest means to hide, not reveal yourself. Keep secrets, not show yourself. Wear a mask, right? People can't wear masks anymore. There's no hiding in the Aquarian age. Right? So the or not will be like, no, they won't reveal themselves to you. They won't show you their authentic self. Right? Maybe they don't even know who they are. It's just showing you that they're not for you, right? They don't belong in your life. But those ones that are really open, right, this week, open to intimacy, open to closeness, open to like a deep, and it's not necessarily just sexual, right? It's an emotional connection. It's a spiritual connection where you feel deeply fulfilled and nourished, like your soul feels like it was fed, right? It feels nourished by that connection. That's that intimacy that we're going to be longing for in the cross of the sleeping phoenix. We're going to be motivated by this, right? So, so the individual, right, is rooted with this 5955. The individual is rooted in spirit, in the soul. So this is where you're getting your identity from, is from your soul, and this is being. You're getting your identity from your inner being. The old way, the cross of planning, was you got your identity from the group. You got your identity from doing what you did in the world, right? The titles that you held, all that stuff. So this is another huge shift that we're going through. So this is a time to practice. You're going to be able to really see through this transit what lights me up, what lights my soul up, what lights my soul up. What am I passionate about, right? What about Uranus, the unusual? Uranus is unusual. That's about my authenticity, right? Who brings out my authenticity? Who do I feel comfortable with to really reveal my true self, right? Those are the questions you're going to ask. This is really a time of discernment. You know, it's right in the Bible, is separating the wheat from the chaff, separating the wheat from the chaff. This is all about discernment, getting more discerning about what and who belongs in your life, right? So you want to look at what's alive, what's creative. That's the other thing to remember too. I mean, there's so much collapse and loss that's going on in the world, but there's a lot of creativity too. If you tap into that, a lot of creativity. So what's juicy for you, right? What's juicy for you? Look at that. And you want to pay attention to those intimate bonds that you have or not. Is it easier for you to connect to people this week? Just take note of that. And what's your soul looking for? That's another great question. What's your soul looking for in these connections? Right? Okay. And it's really, I mean, if you left my video right now, what you need to know is authenticity. You have to be your authentic self right now. You have to show up in every moment, in the present now moment, as your authentic self. Okay. So it's really about recognizing the spirit in all things, right? In all things. So what I said before, you know, this theme that we're under right now, we're in a 37.1 theme since 1961, right? And now we're moving into this, in 2027, we're moving into a 55.6 theme in 2027, right? So a lot of this energy is about letting go of fear, letting go of our fear of one another. There's always been this subtle fear on the planet, and even if you're a long-term meditator and you go really deep within, you're going to feel this frequency of fear. It's very, very subtle. Let me just grab some comments and okay. I just want to comment on some things to get the energy moving here. Okay. Is. Yay. found it. I found my pen. I found my pen. My focus. It's like my focus point when I do these live streams. Okay. Let's see. What do you mean by that, Robert? I've never experienced anything like what's going on right now. Do you mean with the retrograde planets or just the energy on the planet in general? Okay. Renee, awesome. She got an astrology reading, the recorded reading. That's great. That you enjoyed that. So Kimberly's the right angle cross of the sleeping phoenix, yes? Yeah. Thomas says, having a tough time communicating with a close friend. The full moon has me super sensitive and volatile. Yeah, it's bringing up. Remember that we're going through that solar plexus mutation, right? Right here, solar plexus mutation. This means a lot of emotions. A lot of emotions have to come up. We can't hide them anymore. We can't repress them. So, yeah. In the 59, that's a good point. See, that's why I like to see your comments, because I can bounce off you, because I'm 3 parts right. That, what was my, communication. So the 59, if we go back and look at the 59, right here, coming off the sacral, it's not connected to the throat chakra up there, see? So this is a different kind of communication. This is a communication that goes beyond words, right? It's beyond words. This is about frequency, right? And this is communication through frequency. This is communication through aura. And sometimes that's enough. That's enough. You know, to not go because the word formulating words and sounds takes brain power and mind, and sometimes often this is more truthful as your frequency. So that's what the 59 is communicating through frequency. And as you know, the pathway of awareness, the evolutionary of the pathway of awareness that we're in right now, we're moving from the physical to the mental to the emotional and then to frequency. We're moving into frequency awareness. This is the oneness. This is spirit awareness. This is where we're headed. This is unity consciousness. But look, what we have to get through is the emotional. All those emotional stuck energy needs to be cleared up. And so something in your friend, right? Something in your friend isn't making you angry. The anger's already inside you, right? The friend is just triggering that anger to come out of you, right? So it's communicating something to you, Thomas. So I would look at that. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm Libra. You're a Libra MG. Libras are people pleasers. That's the shadow of Libra, right? To let go of that people pleasing. And your anger is showing you're probably getting your boundaries stepped over. Okay. Cross of love. Satnam. Okay. Okay, your son has the full, this is the Guinevere, I think, right? My son has the full channel, 59 in the full channel. He's got the 5539, so he's moody, and the 59.6. Yeah. So the great thing about the people that have this natally, they can really create a space for people to be open and to be themselves. That's the gift of it. But we have to be selective, right? We're selective, right? Who we let in, who we bond with. And especially if you're a non-energy type, like a projector, manifestor, reflector, you have to watch your energy, especially if you're around a person with the 59.6 or I would even look at it because it's in transit here. So it's gonna feel like or seem like that suddenly we're generators, projectors, and we're not. Actually, that's what I was feeling today. I thought that was just Uranus, but it's this 59.6, right? Because we're all affected by this. But even if the transit wasn't here, and you're in contact with somebody with the 59.6 and you don't have it, is to watch your energy. Sometimes it can be too much for a non-energy type, so you can pull in or pull out of the bond. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, be selective with your. Now also look at, because this is fertility. That's another thing to go through too. Is fertility, but fertility is very creative. So who are those people in your life that bring out this creativity in you? That's another thing with the fertility. It's not necessarily making babies. Yeah. So you can see this new way of bonding that's coming in for the cross of the sleeping phoenix. It's deep, right? But it's rooted in spirit, it's rooted in the soul, and it's got to be rooted in your individuality, your authenticity. We're all individuating at this time. We're letting go of an old paradigm, and it can bring up a lot of grief, right? A lot of grief and sadness. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't feel comfortable in groups either, Renee. I never have. I remember living in Vancouver, British Columbia, and I would keep track of the hockey schedule. I wasn't a big hockey fan. When I was a kid, I was, but not as an adult. When they'd have a home game, I'd always want to know the schedule because the mobs would be at home watching the hockey game or out at the hockey rink, right? This big stadium, and I could just zip around the city, like it was like I was alone in the city. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and the bonds in our family are completely changing. Okay. Melody, Satnam, 3-5 Reflector, welcome. Yeah, learning a lot. Okay. You prefer the one-on-ones. Projectors prefer one-on-ones anyway. That's the other thing to note as a projector, that you can only focus on one person at a time. Yeah. Okay. Addictions. Lots of emotional shadows projecting addictions. Okay. Kieran's Corner, better late than never. She says, I've been practicing waiting for the damn invite so late in life. Better late than never. That's what I say. And I don't know what year, I can't tell how old you are, but if you were born in the 60s, you're a late bloomer. That's what I tell people, you're a late bloomer. Okay. So I'm going to go right to the messages. I feel a bit off today. Even my voice is a little bit off. I don't know what's going on. Maybe the readings will bring it back. Oh, so just a reminder, the twin flame, these are the mirror souls that are coming in. This is connected to human design, so it starts tomorrow, so there's still time to jump in. And I've been working on that all week. Yeah, and that fits with the 59 because this new species that's coming in 2027, they're called raves, and they share awareness. So we're not the raves. They're not going to be born until after 2027, but the twin flames are a bridge to that. And I'll explain that in the webinar series. Okay. Let's see here. And I'll do the overlays. And I started a new channel. It's called Michael Neutrino. So what I'm going to do, I have Neutrino Astrology, so I'll continue doing my lives here. But the Michael Neutrino channel will have more of the edited videos. So if you want to, my intuition was to like have a backup channel just in case. And those will be the edited videos. Shorter. Okay. So I already did a reading for the twin flames. And where is it? There it is. Okay. So, if you know about the twin flames, so these are the new relationships that are coming in. 2027 and onward, we're going to see more and more of them. More and more, and it's no longer becoming a phenomenon. Like it's growing. They're growing and growing and growing. And everyone has a twin flame. Everyone has a twin flame. So basically, it's the polarization of the soul. So one is the chaser. It's called the chaser. And one is the runner. So they're just two expressions of the soul, but they're different expressions. So the chaser, both of them are focused on the external. So it's about having a spiritual awakening. Like bottom line, the twin flame journey is about having a spiritual awakening and becoming whole onto yourself. Because this is the age of the individual. So all the relationship paradigm that we've lived in and our ancestors have lived in was all based in fear. This is based in love, not sappy emotional love, but true love. Love, the frequency of the soul. That's what love is. It's the frequency of the soul. It's called truth. You can call it truth too. So this is what this relationship connection. It's really a connection. It's a connection, right? More than a relationship. That's up to the divine how it gets manifested in the 3D world. But this is you becoming whole onto yourself. So a twin flame connection keeps you on your game, because as soon as you go into fear, the runner starts running. It's just showing you that you're not in truth, right? So the chaser is to focus on themselves, and then the runner eventually gets there, but in a different way. So most of you are chasers that are on my channel, because they're the ones that are more spiritually evolved in the connection, and they're the ones that are forced. They're forced. And when you meet your twin flame, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. There's no other way except to go in to find that peace. It's just turmoil and agony and pain and suffering. If you even look outside of yourself, it just brings suffering. So the only peace is to go inside, So a lot of people, they don't get this, and they continue this suffering for years and years and years. I don't know how they do it. And some, they check out because the pain is so great, So I did a reading. So this is we looked at the chaser, and then there's the runner. So they're kind of similar for the reading. And so the ego card, I have the ego card here. This is you must agree with me. And what is really about the ego is telling the chaser that I need validation from the external. So in terms of the twin flame connection, I need validation. Well, the twin flame's not around. The twin flame ghosted me, right? Often 10 times out of 10, this happens. It's called separation. It's the separation stage, right, of the journey. So there can be a seeking. The ego is saying, well, doubt. It can bring up a lot of doubt. That's the ego. Doubt. Is this real? Is this my imagination? There's something wrong with me. I'm mentally ill, right? This is the ego feeding doubt into you, but needing this external validation. So maybe talking to others, which you don't want to do. You don't want to talk to others about this journey. This journey is very personal and sacred to you. As soon as you talk about this to other people, that don't understand. They won't understand until they experience it themselves, right? So not looking for validation. It's never, the ego always wants you focused on the external, chaser, all on your twin flame and on the external. Does not want you going within. And that's where you're supposed to go. That's the whole purpose of this journey, is for you to go within and then validate yourself, right? Have your soul validate you. Have your soul validate you, right? That this is my point of view. That's all you need to trust. Don't go, the ego will want you, go to talk to this person or go to a therapist or do this or do that. And it's all to plant those seeds of doubt. The seeds of doubt. This is your spiritual awakening, so it's personal to you. It's personal to you. So you don't want to be running around talking to people. Be really careful who you talk to about this, because most people don't understand. They will in the future, but they don't. Most of them don't understand yet. Right? This is your experience. This is your experience. So then the death card is there. So that means let this go. Let this go, looking for validation on the external. So even expand it beyond the twin flame journey, just for everything. I'm having my own experience. Especially if you're a 3rd line profile or a 6th line profile. I'm having my own experience. I don't need somebody else to validate it for me. It's like if you stub your toe, you don't need somebody to tell you, tell me that I'm in pain. Tell me that I stubbed my toe and I have a right to be crying or upset or yelling in pain. No, you're having your experience. It's yours. It's authentic to you. This is all about being authentic in the Cross of the Sleeping Phoenix, right? So this is transforming this into, like, I need external validation that the ego is telling you, to I validate myself. Right? I honor and validate my own point of view. That's authentic to me. It's authentic to me. And then you've got the Hierophant and the Judgment card. All 3 of these are major arcana, so this is big energy. And this is about your beliefs, right? The Hierophant. And it's also about commitment. It's about commitment. So committing to your journey. To not give up on the spiritual journey. I know people are tired out there. They're exhausted, right? They're stressed. You got the stress card too. Stressed about this, right? It's a lot of pressure on us right now. Probably pressure we haven't experienced in any of our other lifetimes. We're under a lot of pressure now. And the pressure is for us to be our authentic self. That's the pressure. Right? Life will pressure you. People will pressure you. You'll be challenged. And the challenge is just for you to show up as your authentic self. As your authentic self. Right? So this is recommitting with the Hierophant. And it's about, look at your beliefs. Let go of the belief. The belief is like, well, it's all out here. The reality and everything is out here. It's my 5 senses. Whatever my 5 senses can pick up, whatever my brain picks up. And it's very, very limited. And chasers, you're being called to expand your belief system, right? Expand. Right? And it's about moving out of conformity, moving out of this conformity. So that's the other thing that the twin flame connection does. It's like blasts you out of whatever's not self. Right? And that you're not self could come with a lot of limited beliefs that aren't yours. They come from your ancestors, right? The belief is this. It has to be this way, right? It has to be, and our whole relationship paradigm is being flipped on its head now, right? It's no longer based in the bargain. Right? Even the institution of marriage is going down. We don't know what relationships are going to look like manifested on the external. And this is what the twin flames are here to break that apart, break those paradigms apart. And then judgment, that's soul purpose, right? Your soul purpose. This is a great awakening. This is your awakening. This is also about resurrecting something. Also, resurrecting something, awakening, self-evaluation, reflection, and ready for a new beginning. Ready for a new beginning. So this energy with the 59, it's about being honest. It's about being honest. It's about being truthful. And am I in truth when I'm looking to other people to validate me, to tell me that I'm okay, to tell me that I'm not crazy, to tell me that this is real? No. As soon as you go wanting that and seeking that outside of you, it's not real, it's not true. Your truth is found within. That's where your truth is. It's not outside of you. You're not going to find truth outside of you. You're going to find it within, and then it gets reflected back to you, right? Truth. So this is causing you a lot of stress, and tension and turbulence. This looking outside of yourself, right, for everything. To validate your experience, what you're experiencing, what you're going through right now. Because it can seem that way. It can seem like, well, people aren't going through what I'm going through. I'm in agony and I'm going through so much challenge and struggle in my life, and everybody else seems to be okay. They seem to be like just gliding through life. Well, first, you don't know what they're going through, because a lot of people lie. That's the shadow of dishonesty. Then with the 59, they don't reveal who they really are. They don't let you know what's actually going on with them. But that's none of your business. Don't compare yourself. Just keep bringing yourself back inside as a chaser. Back inside to your truth. To your truth. So like I said in one of my videos, it's like the ocean. Right? If you look at the ocean and the waves and the turbulence up here, you want to drop way down into the bottom of the ocean. And that's where your peace is. That's where your soul is. That's where your truth is. Right? Up here is I have to get my twin flame. I've got to fix my twin flame. I've got to do this. I got to do that. No, you got to go deep in here. That's where there's peace. That's what you're really looking for. It's inside. It's inside you. Okay? Anything else for them? Okay, and then let's go to the runner. So the runner's a little bit different, but the same. And the runner is looking to experts, so-called experts. Okay, so they're going through their thing. The runner's going to see synchronicities everywhere. They're going to get lots of hints. Like, why am I seeing all these repeating numbers all the time? Why am I here? People are reminding me of my twin flame. I'm trying to watch something on YouTube and I just hear their name everywhere. That's their soul, right? Their soul is giving them lots and lots of messages, right? But where are they going? They're going to the experts. And who are the experts? They're getting bad advice. The runners are getting bad advice from friends and family, so-called friends and family that don't understand, right? That don't understand. So this is the runners are believing that the so-called expert, their voice is more important, right? That other person's voice is more important than my own voice. That other person's opinion is more important than my soul, than my intuition, than my inner voice, what my intuition is communicating to me, right? So it's believing that others know more. That's the ridiculousness of this, right? That others know you better than you know yourself, right? Who knows you better than you? Nobody. Right? But this is the runners giving their power over to the external and getting some bad advice, life advice. So runner has to go within. This is for everybody, right? The runner has to go within for their own answers. Stop looking outside. Again, there's a little bit of a mirror here, isn't there? right? Looking to others to validate the chaser, and then the runner's looking to the so-called experts, right, for their answers, Okay, and then they've got the Two of Wands. So this is like looking into the future, right? Making plans for the future. Maybe they're going through some kind of big change, you know, right? Looking to the future, wanting to change their jobs. They're unhappy. Often the runner, after they meet their twin flame, will start to question their life. Like, what am I doing here? What's my purpose? There's no real meaning in these relationships, these shallow relationships I've been in. There's no real meaning or purpose in what I do for a living and make my money from, right? So they're looking, right, ready to take a risk. That's the Two of Wands, ready to take a risk. They're about to make a choice, but look who they're going to. They're getting bad advice on the external. They're not listening to their own inner voice. And then they've got the Justice card over here. And this is about balance. It's about balance. And it's about karma. So my sense is that the runners are in a karmic cycle that they have to finish up. So it's about being accountable. In this karmic cycle, so that you get the lesson. So you're not repeating it over and over again, right? And this is about being dishonest. The shadow of justice is being dishonest. It goes with the third 59. Right? Being dishonest. We'll all stay in this karmic relationship. Talking yourself out of your truth, right? Going to experts. The experts say, no, stay in that relationship. That's good for you. Right? You've got security, you've got safety. That's all based in fear, right? And what's it creating is confusion. That's the Seven of Cups to the runners, right? Creating confusion. It's really easy is to go inside. This is the cross of the sleeping phoenix energy, is to go inside. And then they got the exhaustion card. I knew somebody got it, right? So they're drained and exhausted from going outside, them and like making mistakes. Soon as the payoff for the ego, though, is like, well, I went to the expert and they told me to do this, right? So I did it and it didn't work out. Well, who do you blame? You blame the expert. You don't blame yourself for giving your power away. That's what justice is saying, to start to become more accountable for your life. Become more responsible for your life and the choices that you make, right? Because if you're exhausted, your energy is not being used correctly, especially if you're a G or an MG, right? That exhaustion, that's not a good exhaustion at nighttime, but you're right. So to look at that for the runners and the chasers. Okay, so bottom line, both have to go within for their answers and their own validation and their answers. Not to be looking outside. Okay, that's what it means to be a whole onto yourself. Self-sovereign being. Okay. Let's see here. Back here. Comments. Okay. So let's go to the generators. Let's go to the generators and we go back up here. Okay. And there we go. Okay. Okay, Mercury, can you give me a little break just today? Okay, I'm going to go up here. I just have to stay grounded. Okay, generators, we're talking about this week's transit in the 59. And it's about the potential to have a deep, intimate bond with someone. Not necessarily sexual. This is rooted in spirit. This is the 59, and it's rooted in spirit, which is the 55. So this is a real good time to discern who the surface dwellers are and who lives in the depths, right, as a generator. Okay, so let's see here. I'll do some cards for the generator. And the generator is here to respond to life with a yes or no. And then life responds to them. So you may find this week, generators, that people are more open to a deeper connection. We're getting a little taste of what it's going to be like in 2027. Okay. Okay. What do we got for the generators? What do we have for the generators? What do we have for the generators? Okay. And some. Actually, let's do these. Okay. What do we have for our generator friends for guidance? What do we have for our generator friends for guidance? Okay. It's interesting because I didn't do a tarot card with the 59. The 59 is connected to the 8 of Pentacles. You got that, the 8 of Pentacles. In the control card. In the control card. So, controlling others. The ego tells you that you have to control others. Especially when they get a little bit too close to those emotions that are on the surface. Right? These emotions are becoming more and more to the surface for a lot of people. People are on edge. They're under a lot of stress. They're under a lot of pressure. Right now, as we close out this cycle of the cross of planning that ends in 2027, we're under a lot of pressure because we're headed into the age of the individual. The age of the individual. So this means you got to be real. You have to be authentic. You have to be honest. Right? That's the 59. In relationship. To be real, authentic, honest in your relationship. Right? And this is the 59 communicates through frequency. So lying, like you could lie up and down with your words, but your frequency doesn't lie. And people are going to pick up on that more and more and more. You're not going to be able to get away with that. So why we're not self beyond our conditioning are these stuck emotions, right? So this is trying to really control. When we control others, we're trying to control this from releasing these emotions, because the 59, right? It's all about being vulnerable in our relationships. And being vulnerable means being real. It takes vulnerability, especially when you've been not self all of your life, and then suddenly you're starting to embrace your authenticity. It comes with a lot of vulnerability first, right? It comes with a lot of vulnerability. But this is what we're called to do, right? We're called to do this. So it's really trying to control the external, right? The ego has you trying to control the external. This is things like, I don't want to talk about that, right? I don't want to talk about that. There's boundaries, yes, right? Healthy boundaries are good. We'll talk about that next week with the 40. The sun's moving into the 40. But boundaries are like walls. You don't want them to be walls, right? Where there's no room. Like, no, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to share anything about myself, right? Boundaries are, yes, you have a wall, but you have a door, right? That's a boundary, is you have a door. And then you get to choose who goes in and out of that doorway, right? So it's really moving past the vulnerability. We've got to start getting used to being real and authentic, right? That's your prosperity, which I say all the time, is your authenticity, is your prosperity, right? It will keep you safe and protected as we transition through this time. This is what you can count on. This is your truth, right? No manipulation and strategy and all this stuff. That's old, right? It's all about being authentic in the now, in the present now moment. Yeah. And where is it coming from? It's coming from fear. We have to let go of this on the planet too, this frequency of fear. So if we fear other people, right, then we're going to try to control them so we don't feel that fear. We're going to try to control. Yeah. So it's like that. This is what it's saying, is let go of this control this week and see what happens, right? Experiment, respond. I'm going to respond to this person that maybe I have a connection with anyway, that I trust. I'm going to be even more open with them this week because there's this opportunity through this transit. And then the 8 of Pentacles says it takes work, right? It takes work. It takes effort. It takes effort. And it's about learning, right? It's about learning about yourself. That's what it is, right? So out of all the types, the generators and the MGs, they have to know thyself. They're the ones that have to know themselves. Any MG and G that's interested in other people and trying to figure out them, that's not your job. That's Projector's job and Reflector's job, but not your job. As an MGG, your job is to bring all your focus and attention back to yourself and learning about yourself. All right? What I'm doing is I'm priming you and prepping you for this new age that's coming, 2027. Right? To be focused, to really know yourself, know your own frequency, and that takes work. That takes work. So look at where you're spending that sacral energy, that life force energy. Are you using it for your own self-development? Or are you too busy trying to control everybody on the external to avoid this? Because as soon as you go here, well, I'm gonna know myself, right? I'm gonna know myself. Well, what else are you gonna know? Well, I'm going to know my not self. right? I'm going to realize that I've been my not self for like 40 plus years. I haven't really been my authentic self. Well, that's going to come with grief and a lot of pain and sadness, right? This is the work. This is the spiritual work that we're being called to do now, right? But you have to know yourself. Okay. Anything else? Just to be honest, that's the word I keep hearing, is to be honest. Start to be honest with yourself first. Get your journal and just say, I'm just going to write the truth. How I'm really feeling right now in this time, this great trend, this time that we're in. I'm really afraid. I'm afraid of the future. I don't know what's going to happen to me. And right, just get it all out. And that's going to help move the emotions, right? Move the emotions, the stuck emotions. Okay. Anything else? Yeah, it's really about generators. It's really about embracing the spiritual right now. Get your focus off the external and the material world. It's falling apart because it's supposed to, right? It's all calling us to go within. So it's time to go within and do this inner work. It's time to do it now. Because you're going to have to do it one way or the other. So you might as well do it now. Okay. And the other thing I wanted to say too that was coming to me, just because we're in this channel, the 59.6, the channel of mating, that and other people are going to be open to deep connections, is that can really help to make your shadow visible, is to be vulnerable with another person. It's very, very healing to do that. There's one thing to be vulnerable with yourself, but to actually have a person that you trust and can hold that space for you, it's very, very powerful. Okay, that's what I got for the generators. 70% of the planet. When the generators start rocking it, we're going to see so much change on our planet really, really quickly. Okay. Where should we go now? Where shall we go now? Let me get my overlays. Let us go for the MGs, the manifesting generators. So MGs, we're talking about the transits this week, in particular the 59, because it's a star. It's one of the stars of the cross of the sleeping phoenix. Okay. So let's see what the ego is telling our MG friends, who are also here to respond to life. Okay, let's do this quick. Okay. What's the ego telling our MG friends? What's the ego telling our MG friends? What's the ego telling our MG manifesting generator friends? Oops. Okay. Oh, interesting. What's the guidance for MGs? Our MG friends, what do they need to know? That's two of them. Oh, yeah. Okay. Our manifesting generator friends got authority figure, the Ego card, Page of Wands, and the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. So the authority figure, that goes back to the twin flame thing a little bit, going to the experts. But let's go here. So the authority figure. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be somebody that's older or like has who's a parental figure in your life or your actual parent. But it could be somebody that you perceive as having power over you. So it could even be your landlord or a friend. You can seem like they have more power. You give them your power. Your boss, your supervisor, someone like that. So this is this dynamic here of why you're not being honest, right? Okay, so the shadow of the 59 is wearing a mask. That's why it's the shadow of dishonesty. So this is MGs, this is pretending you're someone that you're not in order to please an authority figure. And there's no power here anymore. This is losing power, pretending to be someone that you're not and wearing a mask. The power, every day we come closer and closer to 2027, this is going down. People aren't going to be able to hide behind masks anymore because the 59 is about frequency, right? It's about frequency. It's about communicating beyond words. It's communicating through your frequency. So, and then you got the Page of Wands here, which is like a child. It's a child. So what I see here is inner child work, all right? Because the authority figure, how it works, the one thing that you need to know is that we all have our own inner child. Doesn't matter. You could be 80 years old. You have your own inner child that never grows up. It's inside you. It's like an entity inside you. That's your inner child. So if you haven't done your work, your shadow work or your inner child work, then what happens is you project your parent onto this authority figure. So you're not really seeing them. See how this is dishonest? This is totally dishonest. It's not in truth. Right? So projecting the parent onto the authority figure, whatever that role is. Maybe you were bullied as a child. You didn't have a voice. You were manhandled, right? You were a little girl, little boy, manhandled. You're afraid. You feared your parent, right? You feared your parent. Well, then what happens is then this fear gets projected onto this authority figure. The inner child thinks that's the parent. Right, is the parent, and to be afraid, and wear that mask like you did when you were a child with your parents, right, so that you stayed safe, right? So if you have fear, chances are, this is what it's saying, is you've got fear of this authority figure in your life. So this could be your spouse, even a friend, a landlord, a client, could be anyone. Who's that one that brings up this fear, and then suddenly I turn into a little child. I feel like a child. I even feel small. Maybe my voice changes a little bit, right? I just feel so small around them, right? Well, it's showing you that you need to let go. You need to feel this fear, right? And let it go, because it's coming from your inner child. And what does the inner child want? Unconditional love, that's all. Unconditional love and acceptance from you. Okay, so that's the root of the dishonesty. That's what I see here. And this Wheel of Fortune says that things are moving in the right direction for you, MGs, manifesting generators. The Wheel of Fortune is like having the wind at your back. You know, you're cycling up a hill and you got the wind at your back. That's the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune is moving you to face these fears. fears of authority figures. Because when you fear an authority figure, MGs, you're giving out all your power, right, to someone else. And that's not in truth. That's not true. You don't have to do that. That's not your truth. It's not honest. It's not honest. And you're putting blocks up to this intimacy, this deeper bond. Because how can you really bond as a not self? Because it's not real. It's an illusion, right? It's an illusion. So look at the other thing too with the 59 is look at what is fertile in your life, MGs. What's fertile in your life means what gives you creativity, what gets you all juicy, right? Where you feel all juicy and creative, and there's a depth in your connection, right? That authority figure, that ego giving your power over to authority figure is stopping you from experiencing this. And this is what the 59 transit this week is going to show you. To look at this, who am I having a deep, meaningful spiritual connection with? Those are my people. Who's hiding from me? Who's wearing a mask with me? They're not for you. They don't want to reveal themselves. They want to stay in the shadows. They're not for you. Right? Yeah. So this is saying this week, destiny is calling you. Destiny is calling you to where you're supposed to be in the right relations, right? This is about right relations, 59. Yeah. Okay. And be ready to respond to opportunities that come your way. Yeah. Okay. Because this is blocking this dynamic with a parent is blocking your creativity, blocking your fertility, blocking your connection with others. So it's time to go inside and do this work, roll up your sleeves and do this inner work and get to the bottom of things. Because the other thing too with the 59, you can have a deep connection with others, but you can also have a deep connection with your own soul, Because remember that 59 is rooted in the 55, and the 55 is the spirit. It's the gate of spirit, the gate of abundance. And so a deep connection with your own soul, that potential is there too for you. Okay? Okay, anything else for the MGs? I would say also what's coming up is to listen to yourself. Listen to your own soul. Okay. Of course, dishonesty, Robert says here, right? Dishonesties come for me big time. Dishonesties come for everybody big time because we've lived in a world that facilitated lies, right, and not self and dishonesty. It's come easy for everybody. It takes effort and courage to step away from that paradigm, right? But now we're going to be energetically supported to do that work. Okay. And let's go. Such a strange day today. I don't know if you're feeling it or if other people feeling it. Okay. The manifestors. The initiators. So manifestors, we're talking about this week's transit in the 59th gate. It's the gift of intimacy. It's the shadow of dishonesty. And it's the city of transparency. Okay. Okay. What do we have for our manifestor friends? What's the ego telling our manifestor friends this week? What's the dynamic that they have to clear? What's the manifestors? Surrender. Surrender. Oh, there we go. There we go. What do our manifestors friends need to know? What's their guidance? What's the guidance for manifest? The manifestors need to win, need to be the top of the heap. I need the trophy. I need to be right. I need to get the last word in. Well, that doesn't sound like a manifestor, does it? Okay. So this is I'm right, you're wrong. So this is what the ego is telling you, manifestors, and keeping you from intimacy with others and true connection, true spiritual connection that you long for. Remember, the manifestors can be a lonely bunch, because they're all in that closed and repelling aura. They're in them. They're right. They're not aurically connecting with the other types, especially the generators and the MGs, right? So they can feel lonely, right? So, so the ego is telling you got to be right, right? I have to be right. I love that quote. I don't know who said it. Would you rather be right or you would rather be happy, right? So this is. Ra actually said this, the founder of human design. He was a manifestor. He said manifestors have to really invest in their social skills, because of their type. People don't trust manifestors because of their aura. They don't trust them. Okay, so the ego is telling you that. And what are you avoiding there? I need to be right. Well, maybe past lives as a manifestor. Nobody questioned a manifestor in past lives. Manifestors ruled the world. They were the pharaohs, right? How dare you question me, right? I'm right and everybody else is wrong, right? So there can be that stuff coming up too. But now we're in a different time. So you want to make an effort to create this intimacy and trust with others. Right? And that's like, what I do. Is this a battle worth fighting? Right? Somebody's disagreeing with me, and even though deep down you do know that you're correct, and that person is like completely out of it, do I really need to fight this battle? Right? Is it worth my energy and time? Or is this relationship more important to me? Right? Because usually what we're arguing about is just surface things, right? Surface things, especially with friendships. So ask yourself that, right? Because it's blocking you off from true intimacy, which you're longing for. Even the manifestors want this. So then you've got the Six of Pentacles. And you can see him right here, right? He's got the scales and he's giving. This is giving, right? So this I need to win. I need to be right. That means that other person has to say, yeah, you're right. I give up. You're right. You're right. Right? So what they're doing is they're giving you. Right? They're giving to you an energy. They're giving to you an energy. You're right, manifestors. And a lot of people, because the other I wonder who that was. So, sorry about that. Where was I? So giving to you, right? This is to turn it around. Mercury retrograde. There we go. Let me turn this off. Okay. Okay. Sorry, manifestors. There we go. There, it should be okay now. Put it over here. Okay. Okay, so back to this giving, right? So it's others giving to you so that you can avoid feeling powerless as a manifestor. And then this is saying to give to others, Okay, so take that inside. Okay, this is a good social skill to have. Is this battle worth fighting about? Sometimes it is. Your intuition will let you know, oh, this is my battle. I need to fight. I need to fight for this. Or is this just my ego wanting to be right? Not wanting to feel vulnerable, not wanting to feel powerless, not wanting to feel shame. Then it's like, just bite your tongue, right? And it's like, no, I don't need to win this, and this relationship is more important to me, so I will give, right? And how you give in conversation would be curious, right? So why do you think that? Right? Get curious of where that other person is coming from. It's right. You're giving them attention, that other person attention. Now, if it's merited, though, right? Like it's a close friend, the relationship's more important to you than being right, the ego being right. And right, so you're giving them attention, you're getting curious, you're asking why. And often you'll learn something new, manifestors, about that other person. And they're going to value you. Oh, my manifestor friend really values what I have to say. They're really listening to me, right? They're listening to me. So you have to make an effort as a manifestor. That's what Ra even said, right? In terms of your social skills, you have to make more of an effort in your relationships. And it will pay off. How is it going to pay off? Because you're informing. You see, the manifestor's informing, but they're also getting the other person to inform. Because the manifestor wants that too. The manifestor wants the other to be sharing too, right? So this is sharing. This is giving and receiving. And this will bring you peace, right? Because that's what the manifestor wants. They want peace in their relationships. Okay. Anything else for that? And this was going to really help with this transit, like creating intimacy in your relationships. Okay. Okay, so where are we now? We're at the projector. The projector type. We'll get the manifestors off here. Okay, so the projector. So projectors, we're talking about the transit this week, which is in the 59th gate. And this is all about how we bond with others. And it's a major theme, the cross of the sleeping phoenix. That's why I made such a big deal about this week. Because we can start to learn how we're going to how we'll be connecting with other people in the future. Okay. So what do we have for our projectors? What's the ego telling our projector friends? Who need to be recognized and then invited. Okay. And they're here to guide the other types. They're here to advise, be advisors for the other types. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's way too many. Okay. What do the projectors need to know? Mm-hmm. Okay. What's our guidance for our projector friends? What's the guidance for our projector friends? What's the guidance for our projector friends? Okay. So our projector, the projector got the withdraw. It's the ego card. It's an emotional defense pattern. And then the emperor, the emperor. Okay. So we're talking about emotional triggering. Emotional triggering. Emotionally trigger. And that's what relationships do. They trigger our emotions. And remember, projectors, that other people don't create your emotions. That person doesn't make you angry. That person doesn't make you sad. That person doesn't make you afraid. Right? Those emotions are already inside you. So it's like if you have a cup of coffee, right? And somebody bangs into you, what comes out of that cup is coffee. If you have tea in that cup and someone bangs into you, then tea comes out of the cup. Right? So if somebody bangs into you and out comes anger, then anger was already inside you. You're the cup, right? So this is emotional triggers. And that's what relationships do, especially the ones closest to us. And so the ego, what's the ego telling you is to withdraw. Withdraw. Right? And this is not withdrawing into the soul. The ego never will tell you this. The ego will never, ever tell you, you need to go inside and be with your soul. You need to go inside and be with the truth. No, the ego will tell you, come with me. Withdraw with me, right? Withdraw into your own mind. Isn't that right? And all you hear is the voice of your ego. That's what I mean by withdraw, right? So why it does that is because the emotional trigger happens, and this can happen really, really fast, these triggers. And then the emotional defense pattern, EDP, from the ego, is to withdraw, and then you don't express, right? You don't express. So this is a form of dishonesty with the 59. It's like I'm checking out. This is like physically if you were in the same room as someone and you just get up and you leave in the middle of the conversation. You get up and you leave and you walk out the door. What would people think if you did that? Well, there's something up. There's something up with him or her, right? They must have got really, really triggered. They actually left. Well, you do the same thing, right? You do the same thing, but you're getting up and you're leaving and you're moving into your mind. And that's right. You're not present anymore. You're not your authentic self. You're not honest anymore. It's like you just put on a mask and you checked out. And then you stop expressing. what's really going on, right? You stop being honest. So it's the ego's way of protecting you, right? Protecting you, but keeping you in not self and not self. Or you just avoid, or you avoid the person, right? So this is what this is saying, because it's the Emperor, because this is affecting your intimacy. This is affecting your, right? And projectors may do this all the time because they don't like feeling rejected. They don't like being rejected. They don't like feeling invisible, right? So this could be like a conditioned response that projectors have had, right? It's just a withdrawal. I'm just going to check out and withdraw, right, into myself because it's too painful. It's too painful to feel rejected, to feel invisible, to feel like I have no self-worth, you know? So then the card here is the Emperor. And the Emperor is the divine masculine. So it doesn't matter if you're male or female. These are energies. Tarot has no gender. And this means to boss up, right? To boss up. The masculine is to be more external. It's to be more expressive, right? So it's going to take an effort. Remember the 59? It correlates to the 8 of Pentacles, right? So that's work. That's effort. It's to effort. I'm going to make an effort to express, right? I'm going to be more vulnerable in my relationships. I'm going to express what's really going on for me. I'm not going to check out into my mind. I'm going to keep my heart open when I express to the other. That's all you have to do. Without that person, like, no, I just want you to listen to me, right? So you could say it like that, like, I just need for you to listen to me right now, and I just want to express. Can you do that for me? I don't need you to fix me, or I don't need you to go on the defense or anything, right? I just need you to listen to me. That is so healing. That's going to create intimacy, not only with the other person, but with yourself, because you're going to build this trust with yourself, right? And it's going to be easier and easier not to be checking out with the ego. Yeah. So this is about stepping into your power. Yeah. Okay. And when you do that, that's the great thing about how this works, right? When you're vulnerable projectors and expressive with what's really being truthful, right? Being honest, all of those things in the now, present moment. You don't need to be strategizing about what you're going to say. You let your heart speak, right? You let your heart speak. I'm just going to speak from my heart. As soon as you do that, you're being authentic, right? And what does that do? That other person feels that they have the permission to be their authentic self too when you do this. Yeah. And you don't need to be invited because you're not guiding anybody doing this. Right? You don't have to be like, can you invite me to be honest with you? No. You can ask, especially if they're a generator or MG. You don't need the invitation for this. It's the big things, right? To a romantic relationship, a deeply bonded friendship, a place to live, and a JOB. Or your soul purpose. Okay. What else about that? And the thing is, when you have this defense pattern of just withdrawing into yourself, people don't know you. They don't know you. And when they don't know you, they can't recognize you. There's that too as a projector. When you're vulnerable, you're being authentic, then you're showing others who you are, and then they can recognize you. Yeah. So it takes an effort, that's what I'm saying, for this week. But look, you got the 59 and the 6 activated all week. So people are going to be open. So who in your life do you need to have a difficult conversation with? Those are the ones you want to talk to. Okay. Okay, was there a question here? I just wanted to check. Okay. Right on, Michael Manifestor. You're doing that. You're doing that inner child. That's great. Yeah. That's a great, if you need to do inner child work, if you're listening here, is to Google releasing inner angry. What's it called? Release childhood anger meditation. It's on my YouTube channel. Okay. What if you challenge them with, is it true? I don't know what you're talking about there, Lori. Okay. Okay, let's go to the reflector. And someone made a really interesting comment that they said, I felt like the reflector, I was really resonating with the reflector reading, and I'm a projector. Can both of them be true? And it's like, yeah, for sure. Because I've always felt the reflector is like the wrap-up. The wrap-up. Remember they had the epilogues in the TV series, those old TV series? They had the epilogue at the end for the people that didn't really know what went. They didn't really know how the story went. Right, and then this happened and that happened. They kind of string it all together, so you get it at the end. That's what the reflector reading is like. So that makes sense that people are, because that's what the reflector does. They reflect back, right? They reflect back to the group. Okay. So reflectors, we're talking about the 59 transit, and this is about our relationships. It's how we bond. It's a major theme in the Cross of the Sleeping Phoenix. Well, let's see what the reflector is. It's calling us to be authentic, and honest, and vulnerable in our relationships, and to be rooted in our spirit and our individuality. Okay. Okay, what do we have for our reflector friends? Okay, what do we have for our reflector friends? What do we have for our reflector friends? That's too many. So what do we have for our reflector friends? What do our reflector friends need to know? Okay. It's got a ground here. What do we have for our reflector friends? There we go. Okay. What do our reflector friends need to see? Okay. The reflector got the self-attack card. Self-attack. And the death card. Okay. So this is good news. Good news that some big change and transformation is happening, which so fits with the 59 because the programming partner of the 59 is the 55. And that's all about transformation. It's about awakening, and it's about letting something go. Something is ending, and it has to do with self-attack, the ego. So these are subconscious patterns. The self-attack, right? Our subconscious patterns. They're habits that get expressed when you're moving forward in your life, right? When you move forward spiritually, you're evolving, you're growing, you're doing your work, and then up comes these subconscious patterns. So it can seem like things are going wrong, in your life. You lose things. There can be losses. There can be accidents. There can be weird, body stuff happen. There seems to be an invisible wall that's holding you back, right? The self-attack. So they're programs that we've inherited. They can be samskaras too from our past lives that are dormant. Remember I talked about that in the 33? I think that was the new moon a couple videos ago. That they're dormant and then they get activated. So that you can see them. So whatever these patterns are, there's a part of you that's attacking yourself. There's a part of you that's gleeful when you fail, right? When you seem to fail, you try something, and then everything seems to go wrong. This is when you stand up. When you stand up and you call upon that spiritual warrior, especially if you're a Kundalini Yoga student or teacher, that's the root. That's the foundation, that's the pillar of Kundalini Yoga, is the spiritual warrior. Sometimes you got to fight, right? You have to fight for your vibration. Because what you're doing is you're fighting the ego. That's the real enemy, is inside you. And so it's an ego program that's rooted in self-hatred Yeah. And it always attacks you when you move forward. So how do you deal with this attack then? Well, there's a great meditation called Kirtan Kriya, and I have it on my website, and it's on my YouTube channel too. So just Google that, Kirtan Kriya. It uses the mantra Sata Nama, and this completely cleanses and transforms these subconscious patterns. It works with the subconscious mind. That's what I would do. And you want to do that for 40 days. 40 days. So are people relating to this? Maybe some things are really going wrong. One thing after another. It's like whack-a-mole. As soon as I deal with one, there's another one. Maybe these self-attacks are coming up for the reflectors. So that's what I would say, is to meditate. Do this meditation. It's Kundalini Yoga meditation. It's very, very powerful. And it's said that, there's thousands of kriyas and meditations in the tradition of Kundalini Yoga, and it's really a technology for this time we're in right now. It's said that if all the teachings were lost and all the meditations were lost, as long as we had Kirtan Kriya, we would be fine. We would get through this time. That's how powerful it is. Yeah, that's a good one. And so this will help. The meditation will help you to transform this quickly and put an end to these programs that are holding you back, reflectors. Yeah. Okay. And if you're a reflector, to really tune more into your subtlety, Really tune into your power as a reflector, right? Like really feeling, like really go deep in the feeling of what's going on in the world. Because of all the types, you're going to be more in touch with the collective. Kimberly says, I do Kundalini Yoga every day as a practice. Me too. Totally me too. Yeah. Right. Okay. So that's what I have, everybody. And apologies, I feel a little bit off today. I don't know why. But I don't need to know why. It's just this too shall pass. So remember that the Twin Flames and Human Design, the 2027 Emergence of the Mirror Souls webinar series starts. We'll be doing lots of meditation too during this. And then we'll go into the history. To give you context, the history of our human relationships and what they're going to look like in the future. And the twin flame is a big part of this. And then go more into depth, like it's a 2-part series, right? So it's going to be very, very in depth. And you receive the whole webinar at the end too. Or if you can't make the one tomorrow, then I send you the recording, and then maybe you can attend the second one next week. Okay, so have a great weekend and stay steady. And remember, the one message that I'll leave you with is you need to be unapologetically yourself in each and every moment. That's your biggest test right now. I'm being authentic. I'm committed to that. I'm committed to my truth. I'm not going to fold. Don't fold. This is not the time to fold into groupthink. That's ending. That's an old consciousness that's dying. You want to embrace this new consciousness now. Okay? So I will see you next video, everybody. Sat Nam Aloha. Bye-bye.